We got some bad news, Saints fans, as Derek Carr is likely out for the rest of the season. Now, if you've been watching the show and you've been paying attention to the channel, you would understand that this is honestly not a shocking update, but it does go against what originally had been said by Darren Rizzi, the interim head coach. It is interesting to note that he does have a fracture in 2 places in his non-throwing hand, which is his left hand. You see it right here. You probably read it already. Ian Rapoport saying this. Depending on where you fall on whether or not you like Derek Carr, maybe you view it as good news. All in all, it is bad news just because it is your quarterback one. That is a player that's on your roster, is making a lot of money. And, quite frankly, you want your players on the field. And I get the fact that the New Orleans Saints aren't really fighting for a playoff shot. But winning is a lot more fun than losing. Call me crazy. I'd rather win games. I'd rather at least compete. And hey, why not try and upset and cause a little chaos in this playoff picture? It'd be a little fun at least. But when it comes down to it, I just don't think that Derek Carr should take another snap this season. I just think that it's a bad idea. I don't think that there's any reason to rush him back. I don't think that there's any justifiable reasoning you can give me to put him on the field. I don't care if he's fully healthy. I don't really care. At this point in the season, he's hurt. He's not going to play well if you try and rush him on the field. You don't have an opportunity to make the playoffs. You have a less than 1% chance to make the postseason right now. You're technically not out, but you are. And when you have these 3 remaining games, it just doesn't make sense to throw him out there. If he was healthy, sure, have him play. That's totally okay. And I know a minute ago I was saying, why would you put him out there? It's bad that he's not playing. You want your starters out there. Okay, look. If he's healthy, sure, but he's not. There's no reason to try and get him back out there for any of these 3 games. There's just not. You have an opportunity to get a really good test in prime time in a hostile environment where it's going to be really cold at Lambeau Field for a rookie quarterback in Spencer Rattler or Jake Haener. You also have an opportunity to build some confidence in one or both of those quarterbacks against the Raiders because they're terrible. And then the Buccaneers. That's a divisional game. You win it, you get a little pride, you get to knock, a divisional opponent in the teeth a little bit. I don't think that that's a bad thing whatsoever either. So when it comes down to it, it makes no sense to put Derek Carr back on the field. And I have a lot of reasons why. And I have a lot more analysis that I want to get to in a moment. But really quick reminder, subscribe to the channel if you want more Saints news and updates. We don't just do watch parties. We don't do just rumors, trade stuff, like free agency. We don't do just all that kind of stuff. We also provide news and updates and real information around the black and gold. So please feel free to subscribe today for 100% free updates around your favorite football team. Now, remember, a minute ago I was saying that originally Darren Rizzi was saying that he was actually, possibly going to return with Derek Carr. This was posted by the Saints official Twitter account on December 9th, just a little bit over a week ago. He's saying that he was dealing with a non-throwing or an injury in his non-throwing hand. And as it stands at this moment, Darren Rizzi is saying he doesn't think this is going to be an IR situation. He thinks it's going to be a week-to-week situation. Well, you go back to what Ian Rapoport said, that's the new update. That's the new information. And, given the new information and given the latest updates, I still think that injured reserve is on the table. And why? To open up some roster spots for some other younger players, to get another, roster management and all the charades and all the chess that goes on with that just opens up an opportunity for another player to come onto the roster. I don't think that there is any reason to rush Derek Carr back. Why would you not put him on IR? And to my opinion, it doesn't really make sense not to put him on IR, especially considering the fact that if you do put him back out on the field at some point in time, you have a really, really expensive possible outcome if he touches the field again this season and gets re-injured. And right now, when it comes down to it, there's no guarantee that he's going to be 100% healthy. He's going to be 100% ready to roll here later on, especially when it comes March. I mean, I feel like he should be, but, considering the injury guarantees that are in his contract, he's already set to make $10 million guaranteed, like straight up. You throw another $30 million guaranteed if he can't pass a physical by March 17th. So that's $40 million guaranteed just right there off the rip before we even get into the depths of free agency and into the draft and whatnot. That's a lot of money to spend right up front. So you want to keep him healthy. You want to keep him available. Because to be totally honest, I do think that it makes the most sense to bring Derek Carr back next season restructure the contract, and then you can get out of it in the following year. If he struggles, you put in either Rattler or Haener. If he's good, whatever. You still got him. It's fine. But my point being, I don't think it makes sense to try and risk an injury and risk further injury to potentially have to pay a lot of money here in a few months if he cannot get healthy. So coming up next, I'm going to discuss whether or not Jake Haener or Spencer Rattler will be starting. Darren Rizzi has not made it official, but I think that I know the answer, and I'm going to tell you what that answer is here real quick. But I got to give a big-time shout-out to Tushy Bidets. If you want to keep that hiney shiny, I highly recommend you check out Tushy Bidets. And a household full of holiday guests is a beautiful thing until you realize they're all endlessly wiping in your bathroom. So give your toilet a fighting chance by installing a Tushy bidet. I love my Tushy at home, and it took less than 10 minutes to install. And ladies, I know we got some golden gals that watch. Maddie loves it too. Tushy bidets help clean up a crappy situation, and it might seem like a gag gift, but to be totally honest, it's going to keep you and your guests from gagging whenever they walk into your bathroom. It's also so easy to use. You just sit down, you do your business, and then you turn the knob for a refreshing stream of clean water. Once you're done, simply pat dry with the toilet paper. And fun fact, people who have made the switch to Tushy use up to 80% less toilet paper, so that means no more clogged toilets, and you can save your money and your ass at the same time. So give the gift of practical luxury, that benefits everyone in your household. Go to hellotushy.com/chat right now to grab your deal before it's gone. And don't forget to give us a shout out, Saints Now by Chat Sports, while you're over there, and let them know that we sent you. Go to hellotushy.com/chat, that's CHAT, for the best gift this holiday season. It is linked in the comments and description of this video. Shout out to Tushy. Keep that hiney shiny. All right, I want to go into this update from Nick Underhill because when it comes down to it, it's exactly what I was thinking here as well. And I mean, yeah, like we knew that this injury was going to be something, that kept Derek Carr out for a few weeks. That's always been consistent. And right now, there isn't any surgery required. That's been consistent as well. But it's not a minor injury. So as of right now, you're not getting Derek Carr this week. It's not going to happen against the Green Bay Packers. I know you have an extra day. And, worth noting, he was listed as doubtful, on the injury report. So, maybe, or like last week's injury report. So maybe you could try and play the mental gymnastics of, he could come back. No, he's not. He's not. It's going to be Spencer Rattler or Jake Haener. And to be totally honest, the starter, it should be Spencer Rattler. Nick Underhill even saying that as well, that it will be Spencer Rattler. Again, that's not made official, but, just look at the game. Look at what happened this past week. In the same exact game, the first half, Jake Haener, only 10 passing attempts, 4 completions. Now, sure, there were some drops. Sure, there was a couple plays that got wiped out by penalties. However, Spencer Rattler, when he was in a hole that was very deep, he was able to climb himself out of it. And on top of that, when Jake Haener was on the field, it wasn't just the passing game was down. The rushing game, everything was down. The Saints were averaging 1 or 2 possessions per quarter at that point in the game. Like, it was terrible. And they only had 38 net yards of offense in the first half under Jake Haener. So for my personal opinion, I think that Spencer Rattler must be the starter this week. I think that he needs as many reps as possible, and as long as he isn't giving you an absolutely abysmal performance, he should continue to start the remaining 3 games. I remember when we showed you the schedule a little bit ago, you have the Packers on Monday Night Football. That's going to be a tough game, no question about it. Let's see what the kid's got. Let's see what Spencer Rattler's made of. Can he shine in the big moments? Because this past week, when the lights were the brightest, when the moment was biggest, he came to play. He showed up. He made something happen. So maybe it can happen here in Green Bay. Maybe we could create an upset. I'm not saying it will happen, but if it doesn't, you have a really good opportunity the following week against the Las Vegas Raiders, who are the worst team in football right now, and you can go ahead and get some confidence there. My point being, I really want to see Spencer Rattler continue to start. It's nothing against Jake Haener. I genuinely do feel bad for Haener, especially considering he was a Saints fan as a kid, and now Saints fans are kind of turning on him and throwing him all this hate. And I feel bad for the guy. I really do. But who should be the quarterback as the starter? I mean, at the end of the day, this is a business. At the end of the day, it's sports. Who should be the starter this week? Should it be Spencer Rattler? Should it be Jake Haener? Let me know down in the comment section. I will add this. Let's say that Spencer Rattler does struggle. Like, that's okay. He's a rookie. You shouldn't go out there and expect him to be perfect, for the record. But I do want to see something better than the 3-week stint that he started earlier in the season. And if he struggles, give Jake Haener an opportunity to play some reps. I mean, if he's bad in the first half, give Jake Haener the opportunity to start in the second half. Let's see if he can get a spark. Like, I want to see this be a quarterback competition. The Saints are in a really good opportunity here where you're eliminated from the playoffs. You have an injury at your starting quarterback. You have the opportunity to really see what you have in two young quarterbacks. You're going to have to make a decision on anyway. Might as well give them real game reps, get some real tape, get some real action against a real team, not against a practice, not against your own teammates, but against other players, other professionals who are being paid to play at their highest level late down the stretch and late in the season. This is a really good chance to get an evaluation on both players because we don't have enough tape on both quarterbacks. I'm a firm believer those 3 weeks that Spencer Rattler started earlier in the season, it's not good enough tape. It's not fair tape. Bad offensive line play because there was so many injuries. Basically, the practice squad was the offensive line. You had virtually no weapons. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Jake Haener had, a better opportunity, but when he started, he at least had his starting offensive line there. And sure, there was no wide receivers. There is not a lot of help there. There's no Taysom Hill. I get all that. But Spencer Rattler in the exact same game in the exact same situation, had a much better outcome. Again, I want to see it be a competition. If one player struggles and one player excels, feed the hot hand. And that's where I do think it is interesting that Darren Rizzi hasn't named his starting quarterback. I think that's an advantage to a certain degree because he's waiting to name the starting quarterback. Why would you want to show your hand to your opponent? Why would you want your opposing defensive coordinators to know who the quarterback is going to be? Why would you want them to know how to game plan? Make them game plan for two quarterbacks rather than one. It's an easy strategy to do as a coach to make the opposing coach's job just a little bit harder. And when you comes down to it, when you break it all down, again, it's not that meaningful of a game, but maybe you can see something. Maybe you can see a spark. Maybe you can see enough to where you can actually have some confidence going through this offseason that maybe quarterback isn't as big of a need moving forward. Now, reminder, in case you missed it yesterday, Darren Rizzi also provided an update on Alvin Kamara, saying it's a groin adductor situation. He said that Alvin Kamara actually felt the injury on that touchdown catch from Cedric Wilson. So right now, we don't know whether it's a severe injury. We don't know if it's something minor. They're going to get more testing done and whatnot. So when that happens, when we get updates and when we get information around Alvin Kamara, I'll give you a video. I'll keep you guys updated, and this is why you subscribe. It's going to be a very busy offseason. It's going to be a very busy remaining few weeks with a lot of things going on. So be sure to subscribe. That way you don't miss out on a thing. We're on the road to 40K. Join this golden gang, and we will see you next time.